Great Akoka! Great! Great Akoka! Great! Greater Akoka! Great! Great! The national prayer as projected on our screen, we sing it, we say it together. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. You may please be seated. When that Unilag anthem was going on, I began to get several messages on my phone from registrars of various universities that they want to learn this anthem before they leave. And I said, that's not a problem. We will make it available before they leave. Talking about one of our principal officers just joining us, please join me as I respectfully recognize the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Research, a Professor of Genetics, Professor Bola Obo. Let me just recognize that our guest lecturer is here in company of the amiable wife and children. Please, a round of applause for the Lewis family. Thank you very much for joining us. The Dean of the Faculty of Physical and Health Science, Professor Taiwo Olayinka Ashekun, you are recognized. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, we move to the next item, and that would be recognition, which has been done. We'll do that. The registrar of this great university, I recall vividly that on a wonderful Friday, the 6th day in the 12th month, the council of this great university, led by Chief Wole Olanipekun, SAN-OFR, approved her to be the registrar and secretary to the governing council. And she was to assume office on the 1st of February 2025, which was a Saturday. But she resumed office officially on the 3rd of February 2025, which was a Monday. For those of you who are proponents of mathematics. That means 367 days to this day was when she started work. But again, when you are a leader with a clear vision, you know what you are doing. And I recall vividly on Wednesday, February 12, 2025, at the Halo Chamber of the University of Lagos, where she met with principal assistant registrars, senior assistant registrars, and everybody in the registry. One of the instructive things she said is that for her, a mantra is promoting administrative excellence and professionalism. And after all the meeting, he just said, why not, if not, have a registry week? Just like our wonderful people in the bursary also. And so that idea was bettered on the 12th of February 2025 and fast tracked to this day, which is 267 days. We are all gathered here for an history in the making. At this juncture, it's my singular honor, pleasure, and delight to respectfully invite the Registrar and Secretary to the Governing Council of University of Lagos, the Chief Administrative Officer, Mrs. Victoria Apotede Weekly.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're appreciated. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Folashade T. Ogushola, ONFAS, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Research, Professor Bola Obo, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management Services, Professor Olumuyiwa Falaye, the Bursar of the University, Mrs. Olufumilola Adekunle, ably represented by Mrs. Juliana Adeyo, the Provost, College of Medicine, represented by Professor Odebiyi, the Deputy Provost, the Director, Quality Assurance, all former principal officers here, the deans, directors, heads of unit, distinguished colleagues, our guest lecturer, Mr. Akin Lewis, my dear chairman, Professor Elos Chukwu, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, it is with great pleasure and it is with great joy and a deep sense of purpose that I welcome you all to this historic moment, the Maiden Registry Week Lecture of the University of Lagos. This maiden edition of the Registry Lecture is the culmination of activities that commenced on Tuesday, November 4, with an awareness walk where there was a tremendous show and turnout, and we really made history. It was followed yesterday with a financial literacy seminar that was fully attended. It was a hybrid meeting, and where we were informed and lectured about financial literacy and how to manage our funds, and not just to have savings, but also how to invest, because our salary alone will not make us rich. And that no matter what little we are being paid, we can actually make multiple streams of income out of it. We also had our medical outreach and the sporting activities, and they were all tremendously successful. Today is the climax, the registry lecture. And this is more than an event. It is a statement that the University of Lagos Registry is ready to redefine administrative excellence and professionalism for our time and beyond. The theme, University Administration, the future is now, captures the urgency of our moment. The future we spoke about with anticipation is no longer distant. It is here, unfolding before us. The question is, are we ready to meet it? At Unilag, under the dynamic leadership of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Folashade Ogushola, ONFAS, we are already charting that course of professionalism and future readiness. The digital transformation sweeping through the university, from the ERP implementation to smarter service delivery, signals that the university is not waiting for the future. The University of Lagos is living in the future. As the custodians of administrative structure, the registry must lead this change and lead this charge. We must embrace innovation, we must uphold integrity, and we must deliver service with excellence and empathy. The time for routine, the time for resistance to change is over. The time for creativity, the time for agility, the time for proactiveness, the time for accountability is now. This lecture, therefore, titled Excellence in University Administration, the Imperatives of Professionalism and Digital Literacy, calls us to reflection and renewal, to see ourselves not just as record keepers, not just as custodians of records, but as change agents shaping the destiny of this great university. I want to use this opportunity to commend the planning committee, the chairman and members for their dedication and for running with a vision. I also want to thank you all, my dear colleagues, for keying in and having the team spirit to make this day come to pass. I want to thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Folashade Ogushola, ONFAS, for our unwavering support of staff development in the registry. And thank you. And our encouragement and push for excellence and professionalism in registry. Distinguished colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my senior colleagues, former principal officers that are here, and all the friends of registry, our academic colleagues. Let us rise to this moment with courage and vision, because the future is not coming. The future is now, and it begins with us. Thank you all, and welcome.
That is too small for the Registrar and the Secretary Council of the University of Lagos, the University of First Choice, and the National Pride. We are all aware there are only two universities in the whole of Nigeria, the University of Lagos and thank you very much. We are all doing well. Yes, University of Lagos and others. At this juncture, also let me recognize in our midst the representative of the Registrar of the University of Ibadan, Mr. Omolade Tolui, and other members from the University of Ibadan. Please let's appreciate them for coming. Thank you very much. And yesterday, the registrar danced like was the best time we had in the registry. And during the 100 meters dash, she came first. All right. With your kind permission, the registrar, Mountaintop University, Mr. Olufemi Oyewole, is here with us. A round of applause. Thank you very much. Let me also recognize the first protocol officer at the University of Lagos and former registrar LASU, Mr. Gladstone Oluwatoyin Oshun. Wow. When I grow up, I want to be like you, sir. Mr. Oluwaseyi Adu is also here with us. A round of applause, please, for him. When we get to that level, we do that more recognition. I also saw my boss at the office, Professor Aderoke Omolara Lawalare, Director, Center for General Studies. You are recognized, ma. Thank you for coming. Dr. Gladys Ibikunle, Acting Medical Librarian, College of Medicine, University of Lagos. A round of applause. Thank you. All right. The next is Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos. When you are at the top, you remain the topic. When you are the head, you are the headline. When you are the Vice Chancellor of the best university in Nigeria, truly you are the first. And because she's the first, second is never in her dictionary. Everything she does is always first. And let's just put the record straight because we are record keeper. To chronicle it very well. And this will help our other sisters from our university who this amiable and distinguished Nigerian we're talking about is. First female provost of the College of Medicine. Yes. One. First female deputy vice chancellor development services. Two. The counting. First acting vice chancellor, be it male or female. Three. First substantive female vice chancellor since 1962. Four. When she was in the university, she was first. Five. She is the daughter of the first professor of geography in Africa. Six. Who became a professor at age 38, late Akinwunmi. She is the vice chancellor of the first university in Nigeria and in Africa to have a zero emission vehicle. Electric bus. Electric bus, yes. Seven. As we speak, the Guardian Wonder Woman of the Year for year 2025 is its Vice Chancellor. 8. Still counting. 9. She is the first and the only sitting Vice Chancellor to be conferred with an officer of the Order of Niger. 10. Numero, that's 10. And lastly, okay, still counting. When you talk about Mommy Prudence, Mommy Future Ready, somebody who is sound up there. At this juncture, it's my singular honor, pleasure, and delight to respectfully invite to speak to us Professor Folashade Tolulope Ogunshola, OONMAS. And you know what I forgot to tell you? Because she is first, even in the house, she's the first lady.
Good morning and congratulations to the registry on this historic event. Let me start by congratulating the former registrars of this university, starting with Mrs. Ukiwe, who is not only a former registrar to me, she's also my big sister. Welcome, ma. It's always great to see you. And another sister, Mrs. Taiwo Ipaye, congratulations and welcome. There are many people on this table. I can see the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Research, former, very former, Professor Babajide Alo, a big brother, mentor, and there's so many people here. Let me start. I'm going to jump and welcome all our former guest registrars. and I'm glad that they are here. I'm going to jump my management. I'm going to go to former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Research, Professor Familoni, who works with me and was tremendously. I'm also going to particularly mention, I think, Mr. Oshun, who went from our first protocol officer and to registrar at LASU. Welcome. There, I'm going to thank the management. They're always here for all of us. And I'm going to stop there, but to say I recognize each and every one of you. All those in offices. And finally, I will want to mention Pastor Azuka for his our amiable, dynamic, and straight talking. You all agree with me? Thank you. Um, I chose to stop because there are many people I should recognize, but it has been they have all been recognized, and so I align myself with the recognitions. But I want to say something to the registry before I start my remarks. I'm very glad you brought in the registrars from other universities. One thing universities don't do is collaborate. We tend to compete. And it is so gratifying that the registry is showing us how we should do it at our events. It flows with what we recognize, that the universities of the future must collaborate more. We set up the uh, Unilag, the Lagos 13 plus, which are 13 universities plus, I think, Yabatek. Um, we have not done as much. So it's glad you're showing us how we should be operating, because it's one thing to set something up, it's another thing to operationalize it. And it's baby steps. Nothing much may be achieved yet, but once you start, in a few years' time, you'll find that we're doing more and more together. So I want to congratulate our registrar for this. Collaboration is the key to the future. So I want to welcome all of you to the University of Lagos and to say that this particular theme, excellence in university administration, the imperatives of professionalism and digital literacy is the foundation of moving our university to the next level. Everything good starts with the people and stops with the people. University of Lagos is not brick and mortar. University of Lagos is the people within the University of Lagos that are making the systems run. And who but the registry about the systems, about the record keeping, and about the systems. I took a small step to say, what do we mean by professionalism? I'm not going to take the thunder from Mr. Lewis. I'm sure he has plenty. But I thought it was important because in terms of professionalism, it, it's both a very selfish thing. When I say selfish, it's about you as well as about the institution. Because we are who we do constantly. We are our habits. So if we form bad habits, when we retire from here, it will come to bite us. So what is professionalism? It is it is the conduct, the behavior, and attitude of someone in a work or business environment that is characterized by competence. You must know your work, reliability. When you say you'll be there, you are there. When things need to be done, you are doing it, and respect for others. Reliability includes accountability. You own up, you own what you do. There's no they in that matter. It's always we are the ones doing it. And then it's about the excellence. I'm saying this because it's so important. For excellence, is the quality of being outstanding or extremely good in performance, behavior, or results. Doing your best to the highest possible standards. Never settling for less. If it can be done better, that is what we choose to do. And why is this important? If we're future ready, the future is now. The world is not waiting for us. The world we're in now is a world that is rapidly changing, and the technological disruptions are high. Any institution that does not change gets left behind. Anyone that does not change gets left behind. The ability to do things well, to earn income, re- requires that you have something that you are bringing to the table. Nobody gives money or buys service as charity. There's something they want to gain. Now, for all of us, we work at the university. It is very easy to say that's University of Lagos business, but it is because of people like you. And I want to thank many of you, in fact, all of you, because we work under tough circumstances. And it is very easy to say our salary is low, they don't appreciate us. You are fully appreciated. Our salaries are low. Our salaries are low. But I always believe, both in one's personal life and in a system, you start where you are. There's no need to say, oh, I wish, I wish. This is where you are, that God has placed you. How can you make that position outstanding? And everything is not money. Most of it is attitude, reliability. When they give you a job, you do it to the best of your ability. If you don't know how to do it, you ask somebody. So when you do that, the whole system rises. And when the system rises, people come because they want to be a part of it. And when you have value, money follows. But if the system falls while we are there, whether it's good or bad, we're going to have a challenge. And so in moving forward, lots of changes will occur. If we choose not to change, in other words, maintain the comfort zone, and I can assure you nothing good comes out of the comfort zone, but it is comfortable. It means I know everything that I need to know here. This is how I've always done it. They will just have to manage me. That comfort zone to change is hard. But we have to ask ourselves, if we don't change, initially it's comfortable, but it means everybody leaves you behind. So when you need the things you should have learned or changed to, you'll be left behind, and that is more personal, permanent. Regret is harder. That I wish I had. So I want to thank the registry because I have seen your embracing of the different changes. Some of it harder than others. So I want to encourage you. The change is for our good. The world is not waiting. As we change, we improve. We get better personally and as an institution. And so when we retire, we will be meeting the world because we're better than what's going on. We can add value. We certainly will not be behind. So as we go forward, I ask all of you to listen very carefully to this lecture, to recognize that in imbibing the lessons that will come out of this lecture, you will not only improve the University of Lagos, you will improve yourselves. And I want to make a slight allusion to the last lecture on financial literacy. I am very glad that that happened. May I also mention, you are not too poor to start investments. Never too poor. If you pay yourself first, investment is payment to self, even if it's 1,000 every month, and then you have it in, and you start to put it together. When they give you some big sum, you add it to it, and you get it into something that yields income. Before you know it, you're here for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, that money has multiplied. And so I want to tell all of you, you're never too poor to invest. It's just where do you start from? Some people will start from here, some will start from there, but everybody will have a bigger return on investment than using everything. As they say, Yoruba will say, you cannot eat with your 10 fingers. So on that note, I want to congratulate the registry for this charge of taking us further. I want to congratulate the registry for the work that they do and to say you are fully appreciated. And I want to put you on notice. I want to put you on notice. The university is going through a digital transformation. Nobody is too old, too young, too anything not to become digital. Digitization, computer literacy is the new reading and writing. If you can't do that, you will be left behind. So I can tell you you are going to go into some hard in the next few months and year, but I can assure you that there is a light shining at the end of it. You'll be better, you'll be more valuable, and you will be more things in the university will be better for it. And that includes the College of Medicine and Radiography. Everybody. Thank you very much and have a fantastic week.
Thank you very much. If your hands are not too busy, let's give the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, University of First Choice and the Nation's Pride, a sounding applause.
For those of you who are coming in contact with me for the very first time, aside from the people I've had relationships with, my name is Oluwaseun, but you can also call me OT, which is an acronym for Oliver Twist. You know what an Oliver Twist does? They just like to ask for more. Please put your hands together once again for Professor Folashade Tolulope Ogushola, OONFAS, Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos. You see, my late dad used to tell me that the definition of a leader is when your action inspires people to do more, learn more, and become more, then truly you are a leader. And we will agree that she is a leader. And she also replicates the words of Peter Drucker. Management is doing the right thing, but leadership is doing things right. She's really doing things right, and we are future ready. A round of applause once again for her.
Sheun, let me just say this. Madam Vice Chancellor, on Saturday, 18th of October 2025, at the second memorial lecture of your father, His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, said, and I quote, that Shade, pardon me, I quote, so I didn't say Shade, oh, please now. He said, Shade is my daughter. She's the first child, a good child of a professor. You can't expect anything less than excellence. Let me also tell you, he's very workaholic, and Mr. Akin can agree with me. While she was the provost,
Why are you confirming with Mr. Akin now?
he said yes, noted. At 1 a.m., 2 a.m., she'll send you a message. Get this done on my desk the following morning. That was the time I said, provost, this is getting too much. But one thing is that she doesn't want no for answer. Don't tell her this is the problem or the challenge. Get it done and tell her this is what I encountered getting this assignment done. So let's give it up for the Vice Chancellor once again.
Madam Vice Chancellor, please, before we get to the chairman to speak with us, the immediate past University Librarian, Professor Yetunde ICLN, we recognize you. The former director at the Vice Chancellor's office, Mr. Ademola Aliu, I recognize you, sir. Dr. Ifueko Fadaka, I recognize you, ma. Dr. Yusuf, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, I recognize you, our chairman. And Comrade Olayinka Abiodun from LASU, we recognize you. Because once the unions give the management peace of mind, things will run seamlessly. All right. We now go straight to the chairman, the opening remarks. Our chairman of today's occasion is a man of many parts. One thing I love about him is that purse that he carries.
So you are in spirit. I was about saying the same thing.
Oh, okay, he brought the purse.
It's there.
He brought the purse.
We have to open it today to see what's inside. Huh?
Don't bother yourself. But once you meet this person you know that things are set for you. Our chairman of today's occasion is a man of many parts, former dean of all deans, the Dean School of Postgraduate Studies, and of course, our former deputy vice chancellor, management services. Because we are members of the administrative unit, when they set up committee, they will say, let's review this committee. Do we need to restate them or dissolve them? You know, or when you are having an event, you say you have a local organizing committee, its own LOC. You cannot dissolve, you cannot reconstitute. It's a standard LOC for life. Professor Lucien Obina Suku, the chairman of today's occasion.
Thank you, Shell. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I know that the protocol has been ably led by our Vice Chancellor and our MCs of today. Be that as it may, let me recognize and appreciate the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Folashade Ogunshola, members of the management team from DVCR, RGS, MS, Bossa, librarian, and the deputy provost, who are all seated there alongside with the director of quality assurance. I must not fail to appreciate and recognize the guest speaker of today, the former registrar of LASU, Mr. Akin Lewis, who is a stickler for punctuality. The host for today, our registrar and secretary to council, Mrs. Abosede Victoria Wycliffe. Let me also recognize other principal officers of the university that are retired. We have in the hall here the man I will call my academic father, Emeritus Professor Gide Law. Prof, I can now see, people can now estimate your age by the time that the single boy, the little boy, Lucia, you admitted at the Faculty of Science 45 years ago. And the young lady, Mrs. Wycliffe, that you nurtured alongside with me when I was your day, the top dean of the School of Postgraduate Studies. That was when Mrs. Wycliffe also came in and you nurtured her. So today, it is a thing of joy that you're sitting there and these your mentees are now serving as chief host and chairman of an event where you're seated. Let me also appreciate a very great mentor and the man we used to call the digital DVC, Professor Duroni, within the hall here, former DVCMS, Professor Familoni, the main academic child of Professor Law, who also is a former DVC AMR. Professor Zaid, Fancy Librarian, I recognize you. Dr. Ipaye, I appreciate you. Mrs. Ukiwe, you're welcome. Let me, on that note, use that to also appreciate and welcome our distinguished guests and registrars from other institutions, other universities that are here present. Please put your hands together for them. The deans of faculties, directors, I will mention the director of DLI, who is our landlord and landlady here today. Let me through you reach out to other directors in the university, heads of departments, heads of units, my lost temporal, spiritual, Dr. Obulumani, distinguished colleagues, esteemed registry staff. Can you please put your hands together for yourself? You're looking resplendent and gaily dressed for today. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press, it is indeed with great honor and absolute delight that I welcome you all to this maiden edition of the Registry Week Lecture. I congratulate the registry team for organizing this important gathering and for selecting such a timely and thought-provoking theme. University administration, the future is now. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this theme is not only apt, but is also urgent. It reminds us that the future we once anticipated is already here. The disruptions, opportunities, and transformations that once seemed distant have arrived in real time, thereby reshaping the landscape of the university administration today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today's lecture by seasoned university administrator, the former registrar of LASU, Mr. Akinwunmi, titled Excellence University Administration, Imperatives of Professionalism and Digital Literacy. This lecture actually encapsulates the main essence of the theme for the registry week. My brief remarks this morning is indeed a clarion call to action for our registry staff and other members of the university. It is indeed a challenge to each of us to embrace the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set needed for relevance and excellence in today's academic environment. Let us remind ourselves that at the heart of any effective administration is its people, just like the Vice Chancellor mentioned earlier. As registry staff, you occupy a pivotal role in the machinery of the university. It is indeed stating the obvious that the registry serves as the engine room of the university operations. From records office to admissions office, which is the busiest at this point in time, to council matters, student affairs, the work of the registry sustains the backbone of the institution. My dear registry staff, let me remind you that to stay relevant, your commitment to discipline, efficiency, digital literacy, and professional excellence non-negotiable. We are indeed privileged to serve in one of Africa's most respected institutions, the University of Lagos, the university of first choice, and the nation's pride. So for our registry staff, let me reiterate, for our great institution, it is our collective responsibility to embrace professionalism and digital literacy. These are other departments. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Our dear institution, University of Lagos, is technologically driven. It is an institution that is compliant with the digital era. In line with the future-ready agenda, technology has been deployed innovatively for upskilling and reskilling of staff aimed at improved work ethics and professionalism. Therefore, my distinguished registry staff, I urge all of you to embrace the available opportunities for professionalism, digital literacy, continuous learning, and teamwork. Madam Vice Chancellor had already alluded to this in her speech that the university is going through a transformation and digitization and digitalization of our processes. Please do, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the week has been very busy for the registry staff. I saw the energy and passion that went into the registry work. Please, can you clap for yourselves? I saw how everybody was working. I watched the video, including those that have pot bellies like my own, trying to sweat it out. The session on financial literacy is very key. That happened yesterday. My dear people, if I knew half of the things I now know about financial literacy, I believe my trajectory in life would have been different. So please take that very seriously. As we round up this registry week with today's lecture, I invite you all to listen, reflect, unlearn, and relearn. Let this registry week be a moment of renewal, a time to recommit to the values and vision that made this institution great. At this juncture, let me sincerely thank and appreciate our Vice Chancellor, Professor Oladapo, and the management team, and all of you for the transformative work and setting the standard of excellence that inspires it all. Great Akokai, great Akokai, greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the great. I doff my hat for our registrar. Alongside with your team, ably led by Mrs. Ashiwaju, we want to thank you and appreciate you for your dedication and for championing this week of professional development, reflection, and renewal. And finally, to every member of the registry, let me leave you with this charge. Your commitment and resilience are the true engines of this institution. While perfection may be elusive, excellence is within reach. Excellence is not a destination. Excellence is a journey. Continue to grow, continue to strive, and support one another. The university's strength is in your hands. Let us rise to the moment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to wish you a very rewarding and inspiring Maiden Registry Week. And as we progress with this program, a number of you will be receiving some forms of recognition and awards. Please rejoice with those that have gotten awards, and that will serve as a reminder that you too can also receive an award during the next year's registry week. Thank you all, and God bless you.
That is too small for the chairman of this occasion, the only LOC in the whole University of Lagos, Professor Lucian Obina Chukwu. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Babatunde. Enough of all the speeches. It's high time we listened to the moment that we have all been anticipating. And that's talking about the lecture itself that has the topic Excellence in University Administration, the Imperatives of Professionalism and Digital Literacy. The guest lecturer was carefully selected. I'm talking about an erudite, intelligent, scholastic, organized, detailed, highly cerebral, amiable, accommodating, benevolent, magnanimous. But all these adjectives that are used in qualifying the guest lecturer, for someone that understands better and will help us understand who our guest lecturer is, talking about the citation. Currently, she is the public relation officer of the Association of Nigerian University Professional Administrators, University of Lagos branch, a member of the planning committee, and someone who is central to whatever we achieve today. From the communication unit, where we project ourselves to the world, I leave you in the hands of Madam Nike Ogushakin to help us encapsulate who is Mr. Akinwunmi. A round of applause for her.
Good morning, dear registry family. Mr. Akinwunmi Oladapo Lewis. Thank you for standing, sir. When the story of university administration in Nigeria is told, Mr. Akinwunmi Oladapo Lewis will be one of its finest chapters, with over 2 decades of unparalleled experience navigating the ever-evolving landscape of higher education. He embodies the very essence of strategic leadership and innovative governance. From his early days as an administrative officer in 1994 to becoming the Registrar of Lagos State University, LASU, and most recently, the Director of Staff Welfare, Training and Development at LASU. Mr. Lewis has built a reputation as a visionary administrator, a team builder, and a champion of staff empowerment. His expertise spans university governance, strategic planning, conflict resolution, and capacity development, areas where he has consistently raised the bar for excellence. Armed with a bachelor's degree in history from the University of Ibadan and a master's in public administration from LASU, Mr. Lewis has combined academic depth with practical leadership to shape policies, mentor future leaders, and steer institutions towards impactful transformation. He is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, NIM, Association of Higher Education Professionals, AHEP, American Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers, ACRAO, Canadian Association of University Business Officers, CAUBO, and Association of Nigeria University Professional Administrators, ANUPA. Beyond his professional milestones, he is an avid reader, traveler, public speaker, mentor, and community builder. A man who believes that true leadership is service. His passion for developing people, driving innovation, and strengthening institutional frameworks mirrors the spirit of this year's theme, University Administration. The future is now. Mr. Lewis is happily married and blessed with children. Registry family, with resounding applause, let us make the room vibrate as we welcome to the podium Mr. Akinwunmi Oladapo Lewis, a man whose journey inspires whose leadership empowers and whose vision continues to redefine the future of university administration, to deliver the Maiden Unilag Registry Week Guest Lecture titled Excellence in University Administration, the Imperative of Professionalism and Digital Literacy. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, my distinguished colleagues. First and foremost, I would like to show eternal gratitude to the Almighty God for having brought me this far. I never for one instant or moment thought I was going to become a professional university administrator. I wanted to become a lawyer. There was even a time in my life that I thought that the medic was going to work for me. But God works in mysterious ways, His wonders to perform. The Vice Chancellor, Ma, you have been a fantastic personality. While some of your staff here may not know the depth of my relationship with you, I want to tell you that this woman is God sent to this university. The chairmen of today, when our paths also crossed, I never knew we were going to establish a relationship. It has been that of an elder brother to a younger one. And as hardly any time I call him that I needed assistance, that he will not attend to me. I thank you, sir. My dear, wonderful registrar, the one that shares the same name with my elder sister, Abosede. I didn't tell you that the VC2 shares the same name with my immediate younger sister, Paula Shade. And there is someone in this hall whom God used in connecting me to this trio sitting down here. And that is the Emeritus Registrar, Dr. Taiwo Folashade Ipaye. While I will go into this, at the end of it, I will still recognize some people, ma. But I want to quickly recognize Mr. Oluwatoyin Gladstone Oshun. The only registrar in the annal of Lagos State University that served 2 terms. And even had an extension. He spent 9 years, 3 months. It was designed, it was by divine connection. Because when he thought it was his time to become the registrar, things were happening. But he never lost faith in his maker. So all the years that he thought the locusts, the cankerworms, the palmerworms had eaten, he got everything back in return. Man, I worked with him. We had issues. And those issues molded me into what I am today, man. Mr. Oshun will never bend rules. No matter how big you are, Mr. Oshun will tell you, sir, this is what the book says. So it is now left for you as the Vice Chancellor to discard what the book says and go on your own. But when the paymasters come, he will bring out his books as I told him. So he was always what? He was always exonerated at every point when we had the senior panel. That is how thorough Mr. Oshun is. And I want to thank you, man, on behalf of Lagos State University that Unilag released him to us. In 2004, thereabout, I attended one of the AUA, which is now HAHEP. That was in Kiel. And one of the sessions, man, for that year was the end of university administration. I was still very young in the system, but my curiosity and fear made me to choose that session. What did I bring out from the session, man? That for university registry to thrive in face of current challenges and the ones that will come, every practitioner must be ready to do what? To embrace change without any form of fear. And I keyed into it, man. And I used it in running my race. So this is how we are going to go. Introduction, role of registry, which we are all familiar with. So there are some of these items that I will just point out one by one. The rest you can do on your own. Then the key concepts, challenges facing university administration in Nigeria today, aspects of professionalism in administration. Then we'll come to the kernel of the matter, the digital literacy and tools, and why professionalism is low in our respective institutions in Nigeria, whereas our colleagues, our counterparts abroad have moved beyond us in terms of professionalism. Then I will wrap up and recommend. We all know that the registry is the heartbeat of every institution. And when I say institution, it is not only universities where you find registry. But because we are talking about the university, there is nothing that starts and ends without the registry at a centerpiece. Is it recruitment of staff? Is it admission of students? Is it when there is need for the university to engage some people for the purpose of contracts? Is it to launder the image of the university? All these processes center around the registry because every personnel in the registry runs with these processes. And how you run, where you run, the measure of success you get in running will be determined by your own what? By your own experience, what you have learned, how you've been growing over the job over time. Therefore, registry has never been subservient to any other what, any other department, any other division of any university. I shared something with the registrar while in our office this morning that it is imperative for each and every one of us gathered here to go back to the history of registry, its evolution, especially in Nigerian public space. As at the time the first registrar was appointed at the then University College Ibadan, Ma, that registrar was a jack of all trades and master of all. The registrar was in charge of works and physical planning. The registrar was in charge of bursary. Yes. And that was why the salary of a registrar when University of Ibadan UCL started out, was much more than that of a vice chancellor who was then a principal. As time went on, there was need to do what? To become a professional. Therefore, people who are well trained, who had the skill, who had the knowledge in those other areas that the registry was managing had to come in. And our focus became the registry itself. So, as a registry, what do we do? You remember that we are the custodians of institutional memory and the architects of an environment where academia can thrive. And what are these institutional memories? You're talking about the books you use, the Act of Parliament with which this university was established is a constant referral to everything that you do in this university. Even if there has been an amendment to some of its section, that Act of Parliament stands sure and true. From it, you've been able to generate conditions of service. From it, committees have been set up. From it, you will see how the organs of this university have been what? Have been so arranged and delineated so that one will not infringe on the roles of the other. And who are the custodians of all these things? We, the registry members. So in a complex digital era, we must evolve from gatekeepers. We must evolve from being gatekeepers to architects of digital culture. More often than not, and it is quite unfortunate, Madam Vice Chancellor, that over time, the powers as enshrined in either the edict for those whose institutions were created during the military era, or those who are the baby universities with law, or like the act. Over time, and please, my academic colleagues, don't feel bad about this. There is a Yoruba saying that ohun tá bá fi sílẹ̀ lewúrẹ́ máa ń gbé. If you leave your property loosely, someone who is in dire need of it will do what? We pick it up, go away with it, and make better use of it. Over time, we have seen ourselves as typical public servants, where it is Ogota Ogota, every month, salary will come, whether I do it the right way or not. But the time has now come for us to go back to where? To go back to the original plan. As not as subservient to the rest of the university community, but as collaborators, as critical stakeholders. And how do we do that? If we are not equipped, we must be equipped for us to be able to do that. Therefore, this is a call to action to embrace professionalism and digital literacy as foundational principles. So, let us now define our foundational principles. We all know what a university is: a regulated community and an engine for human capital development. And we know the mandate of a university: teaching, research, and community service. Embedded in teaching, research, and community service are university administrators. Even if we are not directly involved in research, we prepare students for the purpose of teaching. At registry outstations, I'm talking about faculties, schools, we have faculty officers, we have secretaries to colleges and all whatnot. And we have interaction, we interface with these students. More often than not, we are expected to act in locus parentis, because once their parents throw them at us, we are to do what? To stand in gap for their parents, to mentor them, to counsel them, to do whatever that needs to be done in respect of these children. Then, excellence, a relentless daily commitment to optimal performance and due process. Due, please underline that phrase, due process. There are some processes that are not what? That are not within the books, and they are considered illegal and not due. When such is done, the university authority has every right to sanction an officer, even if it is done with good will. It must be through due process. We'll come to that. So, administration, that is the central nervous system of any university. It is the main artery. It is the heartbeat of any university. Short of registry, no university can stand, because our academic colleagues were never trained to do that job. Any academic who is well established in administration must have on his or her own length process, because he or she feels that if he or she has that additional advantage, when the time comes for appointments as a vice chancellor, maybe DG and all whatnot, that person will already be in tune with rules and regulations and how to run such an institution. But ours is primarily administration. Then professionalism, Prof made mention of it. VC2 made mention of it, is a non-negotiable commitment to ethical behavior. Please hold on to ethical behavior. We are going to come to that. Integrity and due process again. So, what about our digital literacy? This discusses contemporary skill to navigate, to create, and to communicate information using digital technologies effectively and ethically. Let us hold on to ethically as well. And I think it was Prof, the chairman, who made mention of it, that no matter how savvy you are in using of these technological skills, it must be properly used. You must not use it to your own advantage, whereby it will put the university in serious problems. I think about a week ago, the registrar of JAM, Professor Oloyede, was at the NYSC pre-mobilization meeting. And he said it there and then, with all seriousness, that 15,000 undergraduates did not procure their admission letters from JAM. Those letters were forged for them by custodians of rules and regulations. And he made mention of the fact that there are about 17 DVCs, deputy registrars, and even members of their own body. 15,000. That was possible because IT skill had been had been put to a wrong use. It's a shame. I think about 3 months ago too, something happened at UNN. A registrar issued a letter clearing someone who never finished school as having graduated. That person became a minister. It became a messy thing that the man had to do what? That registrar is under disciplinary searchlight now. Sorry. Okay. What are those challenges we have always had as administrators? I'm talking about inadequate funding. In some institutions, funding is chronically reduced, that the institutions will now have to start looking for means of what? Of raising funds. I know of some state universities, because what they should have doesn't cover more than monthly emoluments of staff. Part of their statutory responsibilities have now been shifted to mercantilism. Yes. People suffer as a result of this. Some even don't get full salary at the end of every month. It is what is available that is shared by the management of the university to their staff. You either take it or you leave it. That is a form of what it demotivates people from getting things done, from being loyal to the system and for owning the system. When there's problem of underfunding, then there will be no room for development of the institution. This man, I don't know why I keep making reference to you. We've driven around this university this morning, and it's a constant reminder of what I see in Europe. Construction site. How have you been able to do this thing, Construction site. It simply means, that you are not only doing the talking, you are walking the talk. And I know about Grow the Firm. I know about Grow the Firm. It is working, God will continue to bless you, I wish other universities can come down here, have a tete-a-tete with our Vice Chancellor. Let's find means of Zenith. I think it's a 5 or 6 story building, There is another one being constructed presently by an oil and gas. And I keep wondering, ma, you will cut soap for me, By the time we are through, you will cut soap for me. Incessant industrial disputes. Industrial harmony will allow for smooth running of the registry and administration of any institution. But for as long as staff unions and even students do not see anything good in the administration, that does not mean that administration itself, management itself, should not do what should be done. But I say one thing, and I'm very sorry, my colleagues had left a union before. The early stages of my career, I was the chairman, SANU, Lagos State University. Mr. Osho can attest to that fact, But one thing is this, because as a registry staff, I know the books. There are some things that my members will bring. I will tell them that this is dead on arrival. We are not entitled to read. Therefore, don't ask me to go and burn my fingers. And for union leaders who are here, especially those who are in the registry, for as long as you are conversant with rules of engagement, don't ever listen to sentiments, lagbaja, tamedu. No, if it is outside of the books, let other members know that this thing cannot be done for now. However, We can find means of discussing with management. Can the management open a little bit, a window through which some of these things can be accommodated? You can stretch the law. Don't ever break the law for anybody. We need to tell ourselves the bitter truth. And we must help them as custodians of rules and records. Then erosion of institutional culture. I've not seen that here. I see everybody being respectful with humility. I see most of your subordinates that we've met making deference to you, not because you are their God, but because they see you as the what? As the gatekeeper of registry. And they know that someday, for those who are also aspiring, when they get it, they will not be shorn of followership. Keep it up, man. I've not finished that. For some of my colleagues who are here, where you know that there is already erosion of institutional culture, the time for us to start building it, rebuilding it is now. And don't get me wrong, Mr. Oshun is there. If I'm going to greet him, ma, I will not stretch out my hand, ma, because I see him as a father. I will prostrate. I'm not asking us to do that. But when you see someone, even if you are AR or DR, you became a DR last year, and you now see a DR of 10 years, and the next thing is that, you must accord that senior colleague of yours all due respect. That is the truth. Mrs. Oyeyinka is also retired. I was born into her hand at LASU. Mrs. Oyeyinka was the registry coordinator when I joined LASU in 1994. In the afternoon when we're working, the woman will ask someone to go and buy guguru and nepa, everything. We'll all sit down in the registrar's office and we'll be munching while working. But woe betides you if Mrs. Oyeyinka gets to work the following day before any one of you, you will receive a query. And this culture is what does what? It's what unifies the registry. It is what unifies the community. It is what brings about the development that each and every one of us is desirous of. The pillars of professionalism. A German British sociologist by the name Ralph Gustav Dahrendorf, I'm quoting him, he said, life chances are determined by a combination of options and ligatures, while options represent the actual choices that you and I have and which we can pick from. And opportunities available to individuals. Ligatures are the external or internal factors. That is, the social norms, the resources, and even physical conditions that frame, enable, or constrain these choices. Let me break it a bit. All things are lawful to me, but not all things are expedient. All things are lawful to me, but not all things are expedient. If where we work, it is said that before a memo goes out, that your senior or your supervisor needs to see that memo to read through, or it still needs the sanctioning of the registrar. Yes, you are working for the registrar, you are working for the university. No, it may be lawful to release such a memo or such information, but it may not be expedient at all times. Therefore, when we come to pillars of professionalism, we will start with integrity and ethical conduct. Ethics, it is the approved, accepted ways of doing things in an organization. Accepted, approved ways of doing things. I'm just paraphrasing. And the reason is not far-fetched. Here, you all have a code of conduct map. Everybody knows and has familiarized himself or herself with the code of conduct. Anything you do outside the code of conduct becomes unethical. You are working in council matters or council affairs. A decision has just been taken by council, and it is the responsibility of the secretary to council, that is the registrar, to disseminate such decision as appropriate. And because you find yourself as a member of council, the next thing is you decide to disseminate on behalf of someone legally empowered to do it. That is unethical. Because more often than not, there are some information that are unpalatable that could bring about disruption in the system. Therefore, some time ago, about 10, 12 years or thereabout now, we had this professor, a very senior professor, a member of council who was representing Senate. I was also a member of council at that particular point in time. We never knew that that female professor always came in with her phone and she always recording. She was a very staunch member of LASU. And at the end of every council meeting, before the sales extracts went out, she would have gone to play the recording to the leadership of LASU. Council now started, thank God, my guy is there, Mr. Oshu, will remember. At the end of the day, when it was discovered that she was thrown out of council, but because she had just a couple of months left, she could have been dismissed. That's where she should go. Professor Abraman, sir. And when you talk about ethics, the foundation of ethics is integrity. The foundation of ethics is integrity. It was Henry Rollins Sika who said that there is nothing as despicable as a characterless character. Yes, there's nothing as despicable as a characterless character. You don't have character, just call God or ask God to take you back. Integrity is the base of ethics. And coming from integrity, you will find honesty. Honesty will make you to be accountable, not only to yourself, but to the institution. And that is the simple truth. You must be accountable and you must be transparent. All this constitute ethical conduct. Anything outside of it, and it is our responsibility. I keep hammering on this. It's our responsibility as core university administrators to maintain integrity, to ensure that we are transparent in everything that we do. And there are times that we fail. When we fail and we know that it is genuine failure, quickly go and seek amnesty. Yes, quickly go and seek, go to the registrar. Ma, I'm very sorry. I committed an error. because she sees the candor in you, she will find a way of ameliorating whatever problem that has been caused. That is the truth. And that, whether you like it or not, whether you're older than her or not, she has become our mother in the registry. That is the truth. So, competence and continuous learning. You cannot be a professional administrator if you are not competent. And the competencies you will get through knowledge, skill, and attitude. We already have the knowledge by the degrees each and every one of us must have earned. On the job, we have been what? We have been acquiring skills. Skills. However, one particular thing can destroy K and S, and that is A, attitude. If you do not have a good attitude, if you are not approachable, if you are the person who carries matrimonial problems, come to work, and the next thing is that you unleash it on your colleagues. You can never be called a professional, and you can never become a professional. I am everything to everybody. When I'm very sorry, sirs, when I'm in the midst of my crews from the senior staff of Lagos State University colleagues, you will see me as a club member. When I'm in my office, no matter how big you are, if you are not entitled to that thing, I will sit you down, I will advise you, and I will tell you that the only person that can get this thing done by way of waiver is the vice chancellor. You will leave my office happier. So we must be very conscious of our attitude and continuous learning. Continuous learning. You must always learn. You must always ensure that you don't just sit down and bury yourselves in what? In rules and regulations. No. What about books on administration? What about networking with sister universities? Trying to do what? Quality assure your own processes and peer review if you are doing it the right way or not. I don't like boring people about me. Mr. Oshun, some years back, told me that, Mr. Luis, Etin Foju. Yes, I'm a man who takes a lot of risk. Dr. Mrs. Ipashie can bear witness. If people are running away from a task, I will put my head there. I want to know. I want to know. As recent as last week, a principal officer had to call me that, do you know anything about the regime of the late Professor Afolabi Olumide? I said, yes. Were you here at LASU? I didn't know. How come? He said, the moment I joined LASU, I went to the library and I now saw the vision panel to up your skills and to help you on the job. If it is not for mischievous reasons, you need to know. Then rule-based decisions. Rule-based decisions. You cannot even afford not to be doing that here. I know your pro-chancellor, a legal luminary, a man who is very vast. You cannot wood ink such a person. And the VC too. The VC that is seated here, you think that she does not know anything about registry. You are wasting your time. She will allow you to talk. You will talk. You will come and like, She will now start. Mm, mm, mm. If you had gone to her with misinformation, if you had kept information, hoarded information, she will start pointing it out to you. You start because She was prepared for this job. So we must always ensure that the sanctity of university records is paramount. Distraction protects the institution and individuals. Because the university landscape is in a constant flux, we must become lifelong learners. Some of you will look at Dr. Ipaye, what is she still doing in the system? If she had gone home, God forbid, all that she has learned, all that she needs to pour into the upcoming administrators will have been lost. But keeping her here is to the advantage of the institution. And that is how it works. Prof, sir, I was sure to see you. But the truth of the matter is that look at both of them. Emeritus Professor Jide Alo, ordinarily, he could have stayed behind. But today, because two eminent people whom he did what? Mentored and is still mentoring have been celebrated. He needed to share part of the glory. If he had decided I was not going to, nobody would have taken him. So we must learn constantly. We must learn constantly. And our decisions must be guided by statutes. Our decisions must be guided by statutes, not personal sentiment, to ensure fairness and equity. To ensure fairness and equity. And I usually use the rotary four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Will it be harmony and better friendship? Anything that is not in the books, please don't ever base your decision outside of the statute. So, digital literacy. We can be proficient. There are some of us that when we speak English, people will look at it that, this is massive. But behind the English, what do you do with the English? Do you have what it takes? Does the output coming from you reflect that you are professional, that you are sound, and that you have the experience? I'll make a reference to that 2004 lecture AUA. As at 2004, most British universities had gone IT. In Nigeria, some public universities, yes, we had few sprinklings of computers here and there. But I still remember, stars, man, that most of the computers you'll find are those heavyweight Alapoti computers. Majority of the tools we're using were these IMB typewriters. But now, do you still have such tools with us? No, because as IT was evolving, we decided to do what? To key into it. Where I'm going is now. What is the level of our compliance to these digital tools? What is the level of our compliance? Digital literacy is a foundational competency for administrators. It is going to shift our role from support to strategic leadership. It also enables us to move from manual processes to transparent, efficient, and data-driven systems. When we were using typewriters, you have to look for eraser or this ink to cancel things. Now, with computer, you can edit, you can vet, before printing. You do all your things yourself. And there are some of the tools too that you can use to help you do all these things. So, digital literacy also includes foundational technical skills and capacity to generate innovative ideas. We are going to look at some of these essential. The registrar made mention of one enterprise resource planning system. These enterprise resource planning systems integrate all core functions: finance, HR, student enrollment, and to eliminate silos. Examples are Oracle ERP Cloud, Elucian Banner, and Odoo ERP. These three have their distinct characteristics. And what I always advise is that look at the one that you think is suitable for your institution. They are not all size fits all. Please, depending on your what, depending on your strength, financial capability, or even the student population, you should be able to pick any of these things that is very, very okay for you. Lagos State University, for instance, with student population that is dovetailing into 50 something thousand, you will need one of these tools and find means of integrating it with what we already have on ground, because there are still glitches here and there. We are evolving, and I believe strongly that if we key into this, we will go on autopilot in the next couple of years. Student information system. There is need for centralized student data from admissions to graduation. We also need to do what? Document what? We need to do what? To embrace document management systems. Prior to the turn of the millennium, Unilag, like every other university in existence, were keeping hard records. But with the introduction of IT, these voluminous documents here and there needs to be what? To be digitized. And you do what? You put them in the cloud. Anytime you need any information, you go to the cloud, you abandon the papers. In some universities, when you go to their central stores, you see a lot of documents spanning 50, 60 years. We need to move away from there. Yes, change brings fear constantly. But have you ever bothered to sit yourself down and ask, is this how I was 20 years ago? If the answer is no, it means that change has occurred in your life. So it's the same thing with what we do. We must never be afraid to do what? To embrace change. However, SARS, there is need for the buy-in of the staff. There is need for the buy-in. There is need to keep reassuring them that with change, nobody's going to lose his or her job. There can be redistribution. There can be redistribution where you best fit. It can be done. But to say that, you are not going to be part of this change because I'm at the twilight of my career, then because we are all what? We are all parts of a jigsaw puzzle. If one is missing, that jigsaw is incomplete. So we must embrace it. Then we should also ensure that we use secure communication platforms. When you use secure communication platforms, hackers, though try as they would, will not be able to easily tamper with your records very easily. Does it mean that it doesn't happen? It sure does happen. But more often than not, an insider information assist will be hackers in perpetrating all these criminal activities, even with digital literacy. Now, I'm going to skip this. No, I've done. Okay, let's go to professionalism. Why is professionalism low? I've said one, erosion of institutional memory, where there's no respect again, where people, instead of going back to the basic, precept upon precept, lines upon lines, a little here, a little there. Why is it difficult for us to always go back to find out precedent to issues rather than just saying, oh, we think that the records must have been lost somewhere? Records are not usually lost, ma. And that is why the committee system is fantastic. After meetings, everybody goes home with his or her file. So, if the one that you're supposed to use is missing, you only need to find out who and who were members of a particular committee for which you need information. Somebody somewhere will release his or her own word, and you get that information. Mr. T.A.B. Seriki is over 80 now. He was our pioneer university librarian man. Alaji Seriki, if you get to Mr. Seriki's house, he will tell you how Lagos State University was conceived, to the extent that there is nothing you want about the history of Lagos State University that you not get from me. And another person is Professor Ogunbi. He is abroad now. He's close to 90 now. These people, academics, but they are keepers of records. Maybe anybody I can also make mention of would be Mr. Oshun, because Mr. Oluwatoyin Oshun too loves record keeping. So, no record must be lost. It is sitting somewhere. You need to find it to make use of it. Then, friction between staff. This friction is usually caused by what? Overambition of some people. And the very fact that there are so many centers of powers, even within the registry. I belong to this camp. I belong to this camp. I belong to this camp. In the process of belonging to different camps outside of the camp of the registrar, you are not only dividing the registry, you are bringing about disunity. That is the truth. It happens, ma. I'm not saying it is here, ma, but we see it happen. When I was young, Mr. Oshun is there. I'll continue making mention of him. Nobody was in Mr. Oshun's camp. Mr. Oshun will tell you that I don't belong to camp. I don't do caucus. But there were some of my colleagues who belong to camps here and there. And in the process of belonging to camp, if the leader of that camp does not like the face of the registrar, the next thing they will do is to find means of discrediting the work of the registrar. And in the process, LASU had crisis of leadership at a point in its life in the registry that the state government had to be bringing people from outside until normalcy returned. So we must stop this friction. This space is too big enough for each and every one of us to fly unhindered. Everybody cannot become a registrar, just like everybody cannot become a vice chancellor. Everybody can become a professor if you work hard for it. Everybody can become a deputy registrar if you work hard for it, and if there is vacancy. And if there is vacancy. But to say that because somebody became, I have not become, you are going to pull down the institution, it will not augur well. Then deficit in continuous training. Vice Chancellor, thank you very much. I see the work that Mrs. Ashiwaju is doing in terms of in-house training. Let us continue in that model, ma. And I will tell you the reason why I always advocate for in-house training. It is cheaper, ma. It is cheaper. Take, for instance, you are sending some of them to Abuja and they are spending 1 point something million naira each. 10 of them, that is almost 11 million, ma. But if such a training program is to be in-house, ma, you will spend 50% of that total cost. And your university has a lot of resource persons that can do this. Let's focus more on it, especially for those upcoming young administrators. There will still be some deputy registrars, directors who you need to send outside, man. But for those at that level, middle level, the base, let the training be constant. And this is where I want to appeal to ANUPA. The chairperson of ANUPA, are you here? Please, if ANUPA stands for as a training arm of ANU, it must be seen to be doing that training. It must be seen to be doing what? To be doing that training. It is not every time that you take yourselves to Abuja. You can join them virtually. You can organize. Ma, about 2 years ago, ma, I was on sabbatical at the newly established Lagos State University of Education in Janiki, and I was to help them restructure their establishment division. I made it a point of order that each of the unit heads must present a paper. So for the whole year, we were able to present like 6 papers. And you need to let me know what you have learned from me. And you need to share that same experience with those who are coming. I also assisted them in bringing up ANUPA, setting up ANUPA there. For ANUPA, before I close, for ANUPA, ma, registrar, ma, you are a member of ANU. You are a member of ANU, ma. Good, ma. ANUPA is not a sit-alone body. It is the baby of ANU, formerly CONU. Therefore, there is need for the body of registrars to look into the activities of ANUPA as presently constituted, ma. When it comes to record keeping, ANUPA is far from it. And I'm saying this for those who represent ANUPA to take it back. It will shock you, the last election that they did, the national secretary did not return. She never handed over to the current national secretary. And in the process, those who were inducted in April 2025, they couldn't find their records. They now said that they should come and be paying 5,000 naira revalidation. Mr. Otesoyan, sir, yes or no? When has ANUPA become a union? Not only that at every sitting now, each participating branch will come with a sum of money. Yes or no? And I keep wondering, why? Meanwhile, every year, ma, there is an annual due that is remitted to ANUPA. ANUPA has nothing less than 10,000 members. It can play with between 50 and 60 million every year. So where does the money go? And if you are to do induction, after the people must have paid 30 something thousand, 40,000, ANUPA leadership will ask you to pay for their flight, accommodation, everything. That is not professionalism. Those are the things that destroys the basis, the essence of our professionalism. So you people will have to go back. You need to let them know. If they say I've accused them wrongly, let them bring me to where? Before you. That is the truth. It is not a union. So what do they do with our annual contribution? And I'm also aware that on a monthly basis now, they take certain percentage of the contribution from the branch. It is only union that does that. When did ANUPA become a union? Then, lack of accountability. How many of us are accountable with regards to the job entrusted in our care? How many of us are accountable? You bring up a budget proposal for a program, funds are released, you are through with the program, and there are leftovers. Do you pay it back into the coffers of the university, or do you share it amongst yourself? Because that fund is not yours, it belongs to all. It is out of the little that some has been given to you. And if you've been able to manage, return the rest. Return the rest. My recommendations. I'm sorry, my recommendations. There must be mandatory professional development constantly. You're already investing in digital infrastructure, ma. So that has knocked off this recommendation, ma. Enforcement of institutional rules. The registrar, ma, you are to lead by example, which you have started since February. You must be consistent in leading by example, and you must never shy away from enforcing rules and regulations, ma. In our job, I tell people, sympathy is for outside, empathy is for here. The soul that sins will die. So if somebody does something that is outside of the rules of the books, such a person will be sanctioned, because if you do not sanction that person, others will look at it and they will see you as being unfair, unjust, and because that person is part of your own world, caucus, and they can revolt. I've seen it happen, man. I've seen it happen. I've seen a lot of. They will revolt. They will tell you that when Mr. Akinwunmi did it, what did you people do? It does not mean that even when you do that, you will still not find a way of ameliorating them. But let that person first and foremost serve the due punishment before you rehabilitate. We must also promote collaborative culture. The Vice Chancellor said that. How good is our mentoring? How many of us here have mentors? In all honesty, how many of us have mentors? Not role models, oh. How many of us here have mentors? And ensure that if you are looking for mentors, don't let your mentors be from within alone. There must always be cross-fertilization of ideas. And I tell people, if you are here, you cannot peer review yourself properly because there is already inbreeding. You cannot self-review, you cannot peer review yourself properly. So you need to reach out. There are some things that are happening in other universities, public universities, that could be of benefit to our colleagues here, that they could share. And in the process, we will be able to build a very strong viral registry. In conclusion, the 21st century university is shaped by administrators who understand the human implication of digital systems. Our challenges are significant but not insurmountable. By embracing professionalism and digital literacy, we can restore the prestige and functionality of our university systems. I want to leave us with this word from George Bernard Shaw. I've presented the way and manner God has laid it in my heart and based on what I've prepared. Some of you may look at it that, what a beautiful, what a successful. No, I dread success. To have succeeded is to have finished one's business on earth, like the male spider who is killed by the female the moment he has succeeded in his courtship. However, I like a state of continual becoming. Just as Paul said, that those things I've done in the past, they're in the past. I'm looking forward and I'm pressing forward. I like a state of continual becoming with a goal in front and not behind. Thank you very much.
I think we can do better to appreciate our keynote speaker, Mr. Akinwunmi Oladapo Lewis, member, Nigerian Institute of Management and former Registrar of Lagos State University, who spoke on excellence in university administration, the imperatives of professionalism and digital literacy. Well, I'm not a proponent of mathematics, but I took custody of the time our guest lecturer spoke, started speaking at 11:50 a.m. and ended at exactly 12:55 p.m. Now, that is 1 hour and 5 minutes with 38 seconds. In an inaugural lecture, it will take you maybe a 35, 40 minutes to deliver. And I will not quote verbatim my amiable vice chancellor, but I know there is one line that they always say, because this is almost more like an inaugural lecture that requires no question and answer. That Mr. Akinwunmi Oladapo Lewis, MNIM, having successfully delivered an inaugural lecture with contribution to knowledge. On behalf, you are hereby discharged. And she will say in her usual manner, I welcome you to the committee of professors that have successful. Well, before we get into the launch of the Centennial, the magazine, with the kind permission of our Vice Chancellor, we have the grandfather of Vice Chancellors who have come to join us. The 11th Vice Chancellor who was appointed in the 11th month on the 11th day, finished on the 11th month and exited on the 11th day, sat on the 11th floor. Professor Rahman Adisa Adebelo, a fellow of the Academy of Engineering. May I quickly invite to join us here the Chief Launcher, the Managing Director, New Cross Exploration and Production Limited, and also a member Pan Ocean New Cross Group, Mr. Victor Soji, our Chief Launcher. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. I also saw the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Development Services, former Provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Folusho Ebun Afolabi Leshi, a Shepherd scholar. And of course, the University Librarian, Professor Christopher Olatokunbo Okiki, we are recognized. Now we go to the launch, but before the launch, we will prep you up with something that you need to see, and for just a few minutes, and we get into that moment where Mr. Victor Soji wants to make a big announcement. Over to the media, please. Let's quickly see this before we get to the launch. A round of applause for the chairperson of the planning committee, the director of staff training and development unit, Mrs. Aderonke Josephine Ashiwaju, and of course, the vice chair, the deputy college secretary, Mr. Kayode Owotutu. At this juncture, I'd like to respectfully hand over the microphone to the managing director, New Cross Exploration and Production Limited, a member of Pan Ocean and New Cross Group. When he was coming and we met, he said, Sheun, what do you want me to do? I said, sir, I have known you for several years.
Sheun, don't be selfish. We are both
You
here.
do things in a very big way and you surprise people. When you donate in such a way that the respondent will just be sounding like ambulance. Wow, 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 wow. Sir, I want to respectfully hand over the mic to you. I've been to several events. Myself and Madam Vice Chancellor were somewhere yesterday. There's a difference between huge donation and huge. Don't get me wrong. You know, people will tell you, I am going to bed. Òun sùn lórí ẹni, òun lọ sórí bed. No, they are two different things. He wants to make a huge donation. If you're who wants to launch the Sentinel magazine, give him a resounding locomotive, unending, and a ceaseless round of applause. Let's keep clapping till he gets to that place.
Good afternoon, Madam Vice Chancellor. Good afternoon, the Chairman of the occasion. I want to expand on existing protocol. Before I do the launching, I just want to make some statement before I go ahead to do the launch. This meeting today is very key to me, and that is why I decided to put something down, which I'm going to share with us. Distinguished Chairman, distinguished Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, it is with deep pride and heartfelt gratitude that I stand before you today, not just as a chief launcher, but this registry centenary, but also as a proud alumnus of this university. This institution shaped my journey, tapping my vision, and instilling in me the value that continue to guide my professional and life today. Returning to this campus is like coming home. the familiar energy I saw today, and I always see the unwavering commitment that I feel reminds me why Unilag remains the university of first choice and the nation's pride. Today, we celebrate a milestone, the launch of the Registry Sentinel, a commemorative publication marking the media Registry Week. This magazine is more than a document, it is a legacy. It captures the voice, insights, and aspiration of the registry, the administrative backbone of this university. It reflects the professional dedication and innovation that keeps this institution running with precision and purpose. As an engineer and an executive, I understand the importance of system, structure, and service. The registry embodies all three. It is where records are safeguarded, policies are implemented, and excellence is quietly sustained. By launching this magazine, we honor the unsung heroes of academia, the administrators who ensure that every lecture, every graduation, and every milestone backed by order and integrity. In my professional capability as the managing director of New Cross Exploration, I lead a team of committed operational excellence in Nigeria energy sector. Our work spans across the upstream, oil exploration, and the logistics around it. And also prioritize safety, efficiency, and sustainability in our operation while fostering culture of empowerment and growth among our staff. At New Cross, we believe that people are our greatest asset and we invest deeply in their development, just as Unilag invested in me. I want to commend the planning committee led by Mrs. Aderoke Asiwaju and the registry leadership under Mrs. Abosede Westcliff for their foresight and dedication. This initiative is not only inspire current staff, but also to serve as a beacon for future professional in university administration. As alumnus, I'm proud to support this endeavor. I believe in the power of documentation, the value of institutional memory, and the importance of celebrating excellence. Let this magazine be widely read, referenced, and remembered. And with great joy and sense of deep responsibility, I hereby, what is the magazine? I hereby launch this magazine where the storm I'll feel sunshine on a cloudy day.
When it's cold outside.
I hereby launch the magazine with a sum of 5 million naira.
Sit on the spring. Talking about bring down the music. The whining.
Vice Chairman.
Mommy is pregnant and mama don't get belle. No be the same thing, no. Nkpekere and plantain cheese are not the same, oh. Thank you very much once again. Ah, ó shock wọn bákan. We are indeed very grateful for this huge donation. Little Oleke, please come up. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to this couldn't have been possible if our sister universities have not joined us. We thank them from Trinity University, from Lagos State University, from Lagos State University of Education Ijaniki, from Mountain Top University, from LASU Tech, from University of Ibadan, from University of Ilorin. All of you, we like to say thank you. Now let me know appear for that picture, Abi. Invited registrars, please. Who 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 picture wan help? When my daddy don already give me him phone. All our invited registrars. Chrisland University. Yes, we have some other co-launchers here. Aside from that, I will do that quickly and make a few presentations. Once again, we say a big thank you to all of you. Thank you very much. We have from our other universities. Please let us give them access. After this, members of the University of Lagos Management will join and hold something also. And hold the magazine. The Centennial. I celebrate my father, grandfather of Vice Chancellor. Thank you very much once again for finding time to be here. Management, members of University of Lagos Management. Congratulations once again, Mrs. Victoria Abosede Weekly. All my registrars from other universities, I celebrate all of you. Thank you very much. Please, members of the University of Lagos Management, led by Madam Vice Chancellor herself, my Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics and Research, Professor Paula Obo, Professor Polusho Ebun, Afolabi Lechi, Chevy Scholar, Mrs. Juliana Adeyo, representing the Porter, DB student, Professor Daniel Odebi, Deputy Provost of the College of Medicine. We celebrate all of you. The University Librarian, Professor Christopher Olatokubo Okiki. Thank you. Then this table that I have my fathers here, led by the grandfather of Vice Chancellor, Professor Rahman Adisa Adebelo, President, Nigeria Academy of Engineering. Please, sir. Emeritus Professor Babajide Alo. Please. Dr. Ipaye. Please, ma'am. Thank you. Dr. Ifueko. The co-launchers, please get ready. I've seen my Oga, Professor Aderonke Omolara Lawalare. I've seen Professor Olowo Kudejo. Thank you. It will be out of place if we give the first protocol officer of University of Lagos and the former registrar at Lagos State University Ojo, the man they call Mr. Abide by the rules, or you collect. Thank you very much. This looks beautiful. Thank you. Please, Mr. Oshun, I respectfully invite you to please join them. Madam Vice Chancellor will be pleased to see you. First protocol officer, wow, of University of Lagos. Oshun, yes, I know, sir. All right. All right. Please let them get the awards ready for me. We quickly do the awards. Where are the awards, please? Thank you very much, sir. All right. The first recipient of an award before we get back to the co-launchers is our guest lecturer for today, who spoke excellently about excellence in university administration, the imperatives of professionalism and digital literacy. Mr. Akinwunmi Oladapo Lewis. And to help me present this, no other than Madam Vice Chancellor herself. 1 hour, 5 minutes of the presentation, a large chunk spoke about what Madam Vice Chancellor is doing, the grace that is upon her. And for me also, I'll cut soap before I come out. Well, yeah, very important. Do I need soap? I don't need soap. I need soap. Madam Vice Chancellor, man, come and help me with this presentation to our guest lecturer.
Mr. Lewis, it has been a great pleasure to know you and to also recognize your contributions to the University of Lagos. And so, on behalf of the Registry of the University of Lagos, we present to you this award in recognition of your outstanding role as the guest lecturer during the Maiden Registry Week Lecture. Given this day, Thursday, November 6th, on behalf of the Registrar, the Registry, in particular, for the University of Lagos at large. Thank you very much.
Madam Registrar, join. And later, the Minister for Home Affairs, and I mean the wife, will join and see that he collected an award. All right, the next recipient, I would still like to request that she does it for me to be assisted by the registrar, is The next recipient is the chairman of today's occasion, the only LOC for life. Every other LOC needs to be dissolved and reconstituted if need be. Professor Lucien Obina Chukwu, chairman of today's occasion.
To the only permanently constituted LOC. On behalf of the registrar, the registry, and all of us here, in recognition of your role as the chairman of the Registry Week Lecture, time today, Thursday, November 6, 2025. I want to also thank you. Continue to be who you are, someone for whom the university is very central in terms of his loyalty. Thank you very much, and thank you for the chairman's remark.
Yes, lovely plaque. Thank you, Mr. Akim Adewale Olugode, for finding time to be here. These beautiful plaques are quite appreciated. All right. May I humbly, I'm in no position to tell the grandfather of vice chancellors to please meet me on stage here, sir. Sir, I will usher you. Professor Rahman Adisa Adebelo, President, Nigerian Academy of Engineering, the 11th Vice Chancellor, sat on the 11th floor, appointed on the 11th day, in the 11th month, exited on the 11th day of the 11th month. Professor Rahman Bello, grandfather of Vice Chancellor. Ah, ah, ọmọ yín náà ni. What I brought you here to do is, you see VT, ó máa ń like go shock èèyàn. Àá fẹ́ shock wọn in a positive way. Sir, you are the best to help us do this one. To the woman that is grace personified. My late dad used to tell me that when you are at the top, you are the topic. When you are the head, you are the headline. Because you are the topic and the headline, people behind you will say a lot. Don't bother. That's why they are behind. People will say, Kilo Sheyi lag here. Elephants don't pray to be big. Naturally, they are.
Well, Madam Vice Chancellor, your registry or the registry of your university through the registrar has deemed it fit to reward you with this appreciation award in recognition of your outstanding visionary leadership and support for a future-ready registry of the University of Lagos, the university of all choice and the nation's pride, and the best registry in Nigeria. Congratulations.
She has my VC sharp for that picture. VC with speed. This is beautiful. Congratulations, Madam Vice Chancellor. Well, quickly, I would invite my other co-launchers. Don't be intimidated by what my daddy has done. My name now is Shehu.
Deputy Vice Chancellor MS, DS, and A&R. I want to thank the representative of the BOSA, the current directors and past directors of the University of Lagos, past vice chancellors, past vice and past TVCs. Thank you very much for finding time to come. I want to thank our invited guests, registrars from other universities. We cannot set a table. Okay, UI, sorry. I recognize all registrars from all universities, actually. So I know Mr. David Ogugwe is there from LASU Tech. The representative of the registrar, Unilag is there. UI, you are here. LASU and everybody. We want to appreciate our colleagues, our registry family members from other universities. You have been good. Look at your numbers and we're proud of you. I'm also sure you have benefited from this lecture. And then to my colleague, Greta Takokai, I want to say thank you for your turnout. You have done very well from day one to day two and today the grand finale. And I'm promising you that after now, we are going to give you copies of the magazine. Thank you very much. And then I'm thanking members of this committee, the planning committee for the registry week. They have been wonderful. Thank you very much. We also will not forget our donors. We know they are listed at the back of this program, and then we have their list. We have logos. So I want to say thank you. Chief Launcher, we thank you. We appreciate you. The co-launchers, please don't go with our money. Some of you are loaded and you are looking at me. I'm looking at you. Don't go back with the money. Otherwise, I will chase you after now. Thank you very much for coming. Next year promises to be more vibrant. Thank you very much. And then to the registrar that entrusted this responsibility in our hands, we are grateful. Thank you for your vision. We thank you so much for trusting us with this vision that we can run it, and we have not disappointed you. And then we want to assure you that we will all be better by virtue of this lecture. Thank you so much. For my colleagues, don't let us rush to go. We're going to dance. There's music. Apart from this refreshment, we also have lunch for you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I want our colleagues, the members of the committee, to take a bow. Please take a bow. Thank you.
Now, as we bring the event to a close, we'll take the University of Lagos anthem and the third stanza, and then they do the closing. Let's just take the University of Lagos anthem and we are done. Are we good? City of Lagos, Great Akoka! Great Akoka! Greatest Akoka! On behalf of members of management and the registry, I'd like to say adios amigos, gracias, obrigado, siabonga, calimera, murakozi. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Congratulations to everyone. Mr. Omotola, Principal Assistant Registrar, will give us
supposed to lead us out, but we are still here enjoying ourselves.